Hey, everybody. Today, we're going to look at the effects of varying interest rates on a typical first-time homebuyer transaction. We are seeing interest rates all over the place right now. They're having these really erratic highs and lows, which are kind of putting people in a position to not know what to do in terms of purchasing a home, and we get that. But let's try to illustrate what happens when interest rates change. So the first thing we did was we took a median sale price of $280,875, which is typical in Pennsylvania. Every state's going to be a little bit different, but that's what we're using for this illustration. We're also using a loan amount of $272,449, which represents a 3% investment from our buyers. We have interest rates that are sliding from left to right, going from 5.5% all the way up to 7%. All of those rates have been on the radar in the last 2 months. We've stripped out all the closing costs. We've stripped out the prepaids. We've stripped out the taxes and insurance just so we can show what principal and interest would look like. And so as we slide down here, you can see that our payment goes anywhere from $1,546 all the way up to $1,812. And that's an increment of $86 every time that interest rate changes by 0.5%. Now, that's important to know because what we're noticing is that interest rates going down is inversely proportionate to demand of those properties going up. And what we have right now is we have a shortage of supply. So as rates come down, buyers jump back into the market and they fight over those properties. And by fighting, I mean they're putting aggressive offers in, they're paying more than list price, they're doing anything they can to attract the attention of that seller. So it's not necessarily in your best interest to wait until rates come down as long as we're in short inventory, because you're going to fight and you're going to end up paying more anyway, which could give you the same payment. So as we look at these different options and you see interest rates going up in 0.5% increment for illustration purposes, you'll see our payment goes up by $86. Then it goes up again and doubles to $175, and then it goes up to $265. Now, what does that mean long term? Well, let's assume that you have this property for 48 months and the difference between 5.5% and 7% is about $16,000 in interest over a period of 4 years. Okay. Now you might say, well, that's a lot of money. And yeah, it is. But you have to divide it out over 48 months. It's $256 a month. Not that that's trivial, but is that going to keep you out of the housing market? More importantly, let's pretend that you keep this loan for 7 years, which is the average length of a mortgage in the United States. What does that do to your interest position, and more importantly, your equity position? That same house that you bought for $282,000 is now worth $369,600. So whether you paid 5.5% or you paid 7%, you have now obtained an equity position of $121,000 to $127,000 with the simple investment of 3%. So you've taken that property that was worth $280,000 at inception, and in a period of 7 years, just by making timely mortgage payments, you're going to see that property go up to a value of somewhere in the neighborhood of $370,000 just based on a 4% average appreciation. So yes, pay attention to the payment, but more importantly, make sure that it's within the budget. Interest rates matter, but taxes and insurance will also affect that payment as well. And just remember that taxes and insurance always go up. Your interest rate should be fixed for the life of your loan. If you have any questions, reach out at AndyLoan.com.